had a hat on. I haven't taken my hat off for a single podcast, have I? Except for when I have my hair over.
Yeah, you used to do the comb over
Yeah.
when we were at the office.
Yep, I enjoy it this way now.
Why?
I don't know, it just feels fine.
Easy?
Yeah, I don't have to think about anything. No one. It's not like anyone could be like, hey, you need to do your hair right now, you look bad. Like, no one says anything about my hair now.
I mean, what can you say, dude?
That's my point, though. Why does it matter? What? It just doesn't make sense that it doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
Like, no one says anything. Well, obviously can't do anything, so no one says anything maybe because of that.
Right.
Well, hello, guys.
Hello,
We're
everybody.
back.
Happy Friday.
Today
Back.
is Friday.
Woo! It's been a long 7 days.
8 days.
Long 8 days, huh?
Yeah, because we do it on Thursday normally.
Yeah, it's been a long 8 days. Well, I'm back. Been away for work. Was in Vegas for 7 days. Finally got to come home. Man, just the weirdness of Vegas. It's a weird thing. It's a weird place. It's where weird people go.
Did you just stay in one spot?
Well, the convention that I attended was between 2 hotels. Other than that, I only walked the strip a little bit.
You know, I prefer the old Vegas.
You're talking about Fremont?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to go, but it was just a drive,
It just seems a lot more accessible. It seems better with the weather. It seems like there's a whole lot more to do.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's actually even felt a little bit more safer. Like I always saw like police officers around, and then you have those street performers, and then you and it's just like you exit one, and it's literally just like 15 steps, and you're in another one. Whereas on this strip, it's like you got one big one that's super like packed, and then you gotta walk like 2 lights down to get to another one.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. Fremont, there's a lot. That's where
where you go to gamble, I think.
Fremont?
Yeah, the main street has all the shows and stuff. So if you're not there for a show,
it's just a weird place. Like the last time I was there, the performers outside looked like they were on the verge of retiring.
I did see a few where you could totally tell that they had some like C-sections.
It's questionable. Like you're wearing a bikini, you're pregnant. Like what?
I saw that is very weird.
Have you seen that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude? So I think Fremont in the old Vegas, right?
I think it's considered old Vegas. Yeah.
Now that's where the weird people go, and I guess weird isn't a bad thing necessarily. It's just I don't know. I just think humans are weird now.
I think there's weird, and then I think there's cool because we went. And there was a lot of street performers. So there was this guy who could beat anyone in a rap battle, like just was spitting lines like crazy. And it was so cool just to stand there and watch. And like anyone who came by, it wasn't just him choosing. It was like whoever wanted to challenge him could challenge him.
Really?
So it wasn't like, choreography.
So it was like on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And then there was some guys doing some kind of like parkourish thing, like flips over people.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was just those like reenacted people like Elvis. Or like Batman or things like that.
When I was walking the strip, I saw Elvis on a wheelchair. It was pretty interesting. And not the old wheelchairs, where you have to, the human powered ones, but the electric wheelchairs.
Are you talking about the car one?
The scooters.
Oh, what are they called? They had commercials
scooters.
forever. I haven't even seen them. The Rascals.
The Rascals. Yeah, it was an
Get
Elvis.
Your rascal
it was an Elvis in a scooter. Can't get weirder than that. Anyway, what was I trying to tell you about humans being weird?
Oh, you were talking about different hotel rooms, like not rooms, but
So the convention.
convention.
Yeah, the convention was held in 2 hotels. It was pretty cool. Basically, we did a lot of networking, a lot of presentations. In fact, I did a ton of presentations, and I had not practiced the presentation before then. I kind of just made it up as I went. Think I did okay?
You don't normally do that?
No.
And why would you have done it? Like, why were you the one who went?
Why was I the one? Well, so I have my own small little family-owned business that I'm just starting, and then I have I guess you would call me a quote-unquote business manager. Is what I do. So I went there to set up the booth, to just be an extra rep for the company. Yeah, help him. My boss, help him out with the company. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't normally do presentations. I guess I just had to do it on the spot that day for 4 days. It was 4-minute presentations from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then 10-minute presentations between 1:30 to sometimes I went to like 5. And then
good.
And then we just had like extra meetings in breaks or in between lunches or breakfast or dinners. Pretty interesting.
That's what happened when I got the general manager job that I had. I was just kind of like thrown in since I already knew the restaurant. They just kind of were like, okay, now you're a general manager. Here's a store you've never been to before. You don't know where anything's at. You don't really know how to do the paperwork. So, yeah, just look around. You'll figure it out. And so at first, I was just like asking questions like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do this? Do I need to do this? Why should I do this? And then I was just like, I'm tired of this. And I just started doing whatever the hell I wanted to and started learning like what was wasting my time and what wasn't. And it started to work out.
Yeah. How long were you there?
2 years.
2 years?
Well, as the general manager, 2 years.
Yeah. But you grew up in that restaurant, right?
Yeah.
That was like your second job or something?
That was the only job, kind of. I worked with you for a month.
Oh, yeah.
In a warehouse.
We did MPU, which is short for merchandise pickup at a warehouse. And it was like summertime, and Greg was trying to get some work. He didn't want to go back to...
I just wanted to leave that place.
Had rage quit the other place.
No. I just didn't want to go there anymore. And I was like, ugh.
And then what'd you do? You just quit? And you're like, you know what? I need some money.
Well, I told them that I was going to go. I just wanted to try something else out. And they liked me enough. So they're like, okay, just let me know in like a month or 2 if you want to come back. And so I went over.
A month or 2.
and I was working. It came out to like $300 every like 2 weeks. And I was just like, nah. No.
Yeah, how much money were you making at the other place?
I was making nothing. Oh, at the restaurant?
Yeah.
I could make easily
like
anywhere from $30
to
$50 in tips a night, on top of however many hours I was there. So anywhere from 5 to 6 hours. So I could make around 90-ish bucks every time I worked.
$90.
So if I worked 3 times that week, I already almost made as much as I would work in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
With the great indoors.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried restaurants, man. Not for me.
You just have to realize that things don't matter. Like, someone talks trash to you, the second they walk out, you don't see them ever again. If you do see them again, you're going to forget who they are.
I mean, I don't even think it was about the customers. It's just the way a restaurant works. It's just not for me, I guess. A little weird.
We'll see, that makes sense, because there's plenty of things that I'm like, not for me.
Yeah. Like
going out and meeting people. Like, it's so weird. Like, even just going to a bar and going up to the counter to ask for a drink is weird to me.
Do you think you have social anxiety? I think we talked about this last.
Oh, it's probably some sort of thing like that. But
do you get freaked out? Do you get like clammy hands?
Like if I know exactly what I'm gonna do, it doesn't matter. But like I don't like the awkward standing around. Like
why not? Like what do
when you go up to a bar and like they don't acknowledge you or look at you or like you don't know if they're going to get to you at some point and you're just standing there and then you're just like there's people talking all around you and you're just kind of standing there. It's weird. Like obviously you're waiting for a drink. But like just that feeling is weird of standing there waiting. I don't know. It's just a weird feeling to me.
I think maybe you're way too deep in your own head. Like, for instance, okay, so let me tell you a little bit about the experience that I had over this week.
Yeah.
You know, so it was 6 days of just basically doing sales. And the last day was like they had hosted a gala dinner. They had a gala dinner.
Oh.
Like a black tie dinner, very fancy for 6,500 people. It's a rather small convention I hear, but when you're in there, it doesn't feel that way. There's so many people. Like like if you want to talk about social anxiety, like doing these conventions helped me overcome. I wouldn't say that I had social anxiety, but I had something like it where you're just kind of weird talking to people.
Well, it's like I had gone to some like food expos that may be semi similar to that kind of a concept. People would come to your like booth and talk to you, right? Like you weren't walking around just talking to people. Like you may have done that, but that's not like the point of it.
On Saturday, people came to a booth, but Monday through Thursday, we were the ones walking around.
Like the food ones, like people would walk around and check out everyone's booth. And then the people who were there would also do the same thing. So like I'd only stop at things obviously that I would be interested in. Mm-hmm. So like that kind of thing is fine. If someone's going to walk up to my booth and start talking to me, that's fine because I have a reason to talk to them.
So you need a reason to talk to people.
So like if you were just walking around and you ran into someone, but you didn't know what they did and you didn't know if they wanted to travel and you weren't in it like a non-verbal agreement. Like you knew that they wanted to travel or something because they walked up to you. So like you just were walking around, like I couldn't talk to that person. It'd be weird.
Yeah.
But if they came to my booth, it'd be perfectly fine talking to them.
It sounds like a social anxiety, which is normal. I think a lot of people experience it. I mean, I guess I had a variation of that.
I also think it's one other thing. Like growing up, you were always like when you would do something, like say you talk to a stranger or something, don't talk to strangers, or like
you've been conditioned.
Almost kind of, yeah. Like you're just so used to it being something like weird. Like you don't like if you want to talk to a girl, let's say, like you don't follow her until she stops, until you can catch up to her to start talking to her. Like it's weird. Like you can like if you see someone down the street, if you see someone down the street, you don't run, sprint over to this person just to say hi. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
But like your intention is literally you just want to get to know this person. Like I think there's enough of those things in my head that I see that I'm that person and I don't do it. Like even if it's appropriate.
I mean, you can. There's ways around it. Okay, there's ways around it.
Yeah.
There's ways where, okay, for instance, the person behind. So we had a thing called the track, and it was like a row of tables that we had to visit to present the company. And there was a person in front of us and a person behind us. And the person behind us, like we always kept bumping into each other, and it was like it was inevitable that we would talk, and that was that. I mean, we just talked, and then it was even funny because, the person in front of us was taking too long, and now we had something in common per se to talk about, and yeah, like I think that maybe you're taking yourself way too serious,
Probably.
and you just gotta relax. Everybody feels like everybody. Like you're human, you're experiencing the exact same emotions that everybody else experiences. You know, the awkwardness, the the humor, you know, the happiness, depression, anxiety. Every human feels it, and it's just funny that nobody talks about it. And it's something that I keep bringing up on this podcast. And
Well, I don't think it's no one talks about it. So I think everyone has different levels of all of these emotion kind of things. So some people have more happiness than they have depression, and some people have more depression than they have happiness, and so like let's just say whatever levels you are at certain things makes it easier to do stuff. So like one of our friends is always happy, and everyone always loves to be around this person because they talk a lot, they're happy, and then you have someone like me who's quiet and rather stay in a corner and hang out.
What so like, friend? I want to know what is.
You know who it is?
No, I don't.
Woo. Woo's always loud and happy, and everyone likes to talk to him because he talks a lot. Woo? And he has stories and things like that. So he's like a constant conversationalist. Okay. Or like, let's say, Robert likes to talk, but he is also better at like having a plan for something. Like even when you think there's no plan, he has a plan for it already.
Sure. Yeah, he's good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like everyone has different levels of different things. So it's hard to talk to people because you're not on the same level. Okay, so you don't have the same pieces to work with.
What I'm saying is that that's fine. That's what I'm saying.
True.
Right? That's mine, dude. Give my Star Wars cup. So what I'm saying is that people who have, for instance, people who have high social anxiety, just make a club of. Well, isn't there a club, the anti-social social club?
I've heard of it.
Come on, man.
But like this part, like I understand, I could always just go out and talk to people and just essentially kind of try to ignore the feeling that I have that, oh, this is awkward. You still do it anyways. That's fine, right?
Okay, hang on.
But like at that point though, I still understand and I still feel that it's awkward, so it feels bad to do it. Even if I'm doing it and I'm gathering like more friends or more relationships and it's a good thing, it still makes me feel bad.
Okay.
So let me ask you that's something. Why things like that usually stop and why people always regress because they haven't found a way to I did it! Yeah! When I went like that, a fly landed on my hand and I moved and it stayed on my hand, so I said, screw it, I can get it.
Dude, in this place, I can't even open the damn door because they just get in here for some reason.
Maybe we should try some science experiment. Maybe the reason you moved in here was to create a fly trap for everyone in the world. So people never come in. Dude. There's fly traps. That stuff doesn't work.
Hey, okay.
Don't give me that.
Hang on. Don't change the subject, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you this.
This is mine.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh, man. What the hell?
The anti-social social club.
Okay, what about it?
You were just saying, isn't there an anti-social social club?
Yes. But no. I wanted to ask you, do you not have a reason to talk to people? Maybe you just don't have a reason to talk to people. Maybe you don't want to know how people live their life. Maybe you don't care. Maybe that's why you don't. And maybe you think, well, if I don't talk to people because I don't want to talk to them, I'm never going to get what I want. Right? So maybe that's the way you're thinking about it. But what if you switch that around in a way where you were interested in learning from people? That's something that I'm really interested in doing. I'm really interested in learning from people. People with experience. Because they tell you their stories, man, and sometimes they're so unbelievable. Like, I mean, this week, I sat down with people who, so the convention was a travel convention. So these people are all over the world. The stories they have, man, it makes me embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to say that I don't have any stories like that. It makes me feel like that. Like I haven't lived enough. And so I don't know. I just every time I had a chance, if I was grabbing lunch, and since it's a networking convention, they place 12 seats around at a table, and now you're eating with 12 people, and it's not like you have an assigned seat. You meet people. Some people you like, some people you don't like, or some people don't say anything, and you're fine. You just eat. But I must say that the travel industry, they're very, very open with, I don't know, with many things.
Because they don't ever stick with the same people since they're traveling so much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's they're just I don't know. They have a lot of experiences to share. Stories, I feel like, are a big. I mean, just let's go back in the day. What did you do what did you do as entertainment? Back in the day, when we were Indians, or black people were Indians. Damn it. Sorry, guys. I'll be right back.
Like, what did they do for entertainment?
Yes, they sat around a bonfire telling stories.
It'll be easier for me to stop it.
Stop what?
The oven, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they would play sports.
Anyway, so
Or they would do
Indians would sit around, drink some peyote, or drink some cow blood. Right, Greg?
Cow's blood?
Yeah.
I just popped it open.
It's fine. So I'm making some pot roast.
Is that what? That's not pot roast. That's tri-tip, wasn't it?
Or tri-tip. Yeah, whatever. Some sort of meat.
Have you actually heard this? I heard this in the last week that a lot of farmers are saying that. Is that going to stop? I didn't think I'd have to stop it.
What do you mean? So Greg went to stop it, but didn't stop it.
Well, I turned off the heat.
Oh boy.
But a lot of farmers were talking about how, not because it's better for you or anything like that, it has protein, nutrition, but talking about the Beyond Meat.
The what?
Beyond Meat. It has no meat in it. It's like a processed pea protein.
Okay.
But they make it look like a hamburger patty. And it's supposed to taste like hamburger. Jeez, the world is exploding right now. But I guess a lot of farmers are saying that they predict that that Beyond Meat is going to be the not necessarily the food of choice, but the food that most people will use, just like how we use like butter and margarine for everything.
Why do you say that?
They say it just because of how it will be made, price-wise and farming-wise. It will be easier than just working with meat. So and since the taste is pretty close, people will also be able to get it cheaper. So to become one of those things, people are just like, okay, I'm going to do this instead.
Like soy?
Just like how we eat McDonald's rather than making our own burgers.
Like the soybean?
It's not a soybean. I know that. They use something else. But
does it give you iron?
I don't know everything that's in it, but they've been talking about how like it'll be just more of a more common thing than meat. Like their fast food places would probably use it.
I'm thinking that these vegans do not know what they're talking about.
But these are like cow farmers who they talk about how I eat meat. I like meat. They're just saying because it's so simple and it tastes similar and the price will be cheaper, that people will probably go for it over meat.
Yeah.
Just for the everyday, like when you go to the grocery store and you're like, I don't have that much money, I'm just gonna buy chicken right now. It's kind of that mentality. I don't have that much money, I'm gonna buy this one right now. That's what they're saying, but
that's the wrong mentality.
More people will get it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't see myself doing that for many reasons. One, it's something that somebody's making in a lab, so it's not natural food. And
I mean,
two,
like you're doing it right now too, though.
What?
Like your drink is made in a lab.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's water. Water?
Yeah, but there's peach flavoring and the carbonation.
There's no flavoring in there.
What do you mean? And how is it flavored? Flavored carbonation is added to it.
Okay.
So how do you make? What's carbonation?
They just add
It's
nitrogen.
gas, right? And then what is the?
Look,
Like
Greg,
it's in everything now. We're already screwed.
Greg, I'm eating. What are you talking about? BPA or BPE, whatever the fuck?
No, I'm just saying that like unnatural.
Are you gonna eat that burger?
I think I have had it. I think Del Taco has a taco, and I tried it, and it doesn't. I don't like it.
There you go. That's fine. That's number 2.
Well, yeah, but they're that once it's perfected, it's just gonna be so much easier.
I'm sure, but
to
for some reason,
over something
I
else.
will always take steak instead. It just gives you, gives you vitamin B12.
Yeah, but when everyone else starts to choose it, that stuff becomes more expensive because less people are farming it. So it's like,
yeah,
that's what they're kind of saying about why people would be moving.
I mean, they said that about soy, and look at soy. Look at soybean. And it's in everything.
It's pretty damn.
It's in everything.
Popular out there.
But I don't eat soy. I don't have.
Oh, I don't.
There you go. Like, how many people do you know that are soy based, vegan or vegetarian, whatever that's called? One person.
I don't know any.
Exactly. Like, it's probably going to be the same thing.
But there's enough soy boys out there.
A soy boy is different. I think this is way different, but
I just found that interesting that
it is interesting.
They would think
yeah,
that would happen.
I don't think they know what they're talking about, to be honest. Because if it was so apparent that was the case, why isn't it already a thing?
Because we haven't had it long enough.
How long have we had
It's
it?
just it's like how we always see in movies about the future, how people will either be able to go up to some machine and be like, I want this made like that. You could just kind of 3D printed your food kind of
But
thing.
printing is a thing.
No, I mean 3D printed your food without a lack of word for whatever machine it is. So imagine going up to a machine, hitting I want a hamburger and fries, and it just generating right there. So when it becomes that easy and you're getting enough nutrients to stay alive, they don't care about the health kind of concept. That's what it almost seems like it's pushing for. Whatever it's easier to get the food to make it.
Sure, that's just a business. You're trying to be more cost effective. You're trying to, it's about your P&Ls, your profits and losses. The easier it is to make it, and the cheaper it is to make it for you. And look at all the prime example. You drive up to a window, and almost immediately you get.
Some of the.
But should you be eating fast food? Not in my opinion. That's kind of what I'm saying with this thing. It's gonna be everywhere, like McDonald's. But I still know a lot of people that don't eat McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I just think it's like the soybean. It sounds like it's a soybean.
I know they don't use soybean in it because they know that there's issues with the soybean from men.
I don't think. I don't know. I don't know if it's a they or it's a. I think it's just people who don't know what the hell they're talking about. They just don't do enough research.
I don't know.
Kind of like what we're doing. We don't know what we're talking about. We don't do enough research.
Yeah.
But we gotta practice, Anyway, so back to the convention, right?
Uh-huh.
So man, something that really stuck with me this time that I went. So we were talking about how in the tables there's 12 seats, and sometimes you get a nice person and you talk and they say, "Oh, I'm from this company." You introduce yourself, and then next thing you're talking about their life and the last trip they took. And it just so happened to be that I got to sit down with a officer who got into the travel business because he was already traveling the world in the Navy. He just so happened to come across a woman who did book travels. And then they were, next thing you know, they were booking travels together. And now he's 80 years old. And it's funny because he was telling me that the only thing he does for his wife is carry her bags because she built the company. So I thought that was pretty funny. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just the luggage guy. I just carry her bags. And he's traveling the world just doing that. And his wife is just like a real kick-ass lady, dude. But anyway, just me saying, hi, how are you? It went from that to this 80-year-old guy with a ton of experience literally telling me, don't worry about all the minutia, like all the small little things. Just enjoy your time now, because tomorrow, that's it. Tomorrow you're going to be 80. You're not going to be able to do what you're doing now. And that really fucking stuck with me. And I brought it home. Now I'm sharing it with you guys. So if you're listening to this, just do that thing you want to do. Go talk to that stranger. I don't know. Ask that girl out, Greg. Put you on the fucking spot right now. Just do it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And you learn from it. You know? It doesn't have to be so hard. And I think that that's part of the reason why, again, you know, I had a little bit of an issue with anxiety because I was like, always thinking about the end game when you're supposed to be focused on the now, the present. Like, what can I do better? How can I do it better? You know? I was always trying to figure out, like, oh, am I gonna be wealthy? Am I gonna be retired? Like, what's my life gonna look like? Who cares, right? It's you make it happen now. Like, do it now. And that's basically what he told me. And so, I mean, I don't know, dude. Just going there to Vegas. First of all, the reason why I was hating on Vegas earlier, it's just I see it as a vice city. Literally. It's just vice. It's smoking, drinking, gambling, I don't know, like even pleasure seeking, everything. And it's a little overwhelming if you're there for more than 2 days. Have you been there more than 2 days?
No, not really.
No, right? I mean, dude, it gets old really quick. But then it was weird that this happened because I probably had that conversation with that guy the second day I was there. It must have been like on Monday. No, maybe not Monday. I think it was more like Tuesday. It was Tuesday. And I was hating my life there because, first of all, in air conditioning room, and then you go outside and it's like 1,000 degrees. You know, like my sinuses were getting messed up, and then I was just having an okay time. It was fun, but at the beginning it was like kind of slow, kind of weird, you know. But when I had that conversation with the guy, it just what he said, I don't know, opened my eyes in a way. So I was always thinking like, what tomorrow? Like, oh, what am I going to do tomorrow? This other thing in 10 years. Where am I going to be in 50 years? It's kind of what I've been thinking all this time. Right? Instead of sitting here and being like, oh, well, I'm here. Okay, let's start by being grateful a little bit. I got my limbs. I got my eyes. I got a lot of things that a lot of people don't have. And I'm over here thinking about what am I going to be doing in 50 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so irrelevant. And so when he said that to me, dude, it changed the outlook on the whole week. Because then I was like, how many people get to go to Vegas for work? One. And yes, there's vice, but you don't have to participate in it. And if you do, then be responsible. But you know, I'm not. It's not like it was like it's at least not for me. It's not like a slippery slope. You know, some people. I mean, I've seen some people, go on the deep end, way too many times. And yeah, I mean, YOLO. You only live once, man, and it's the now. And I just want to really reiterate that to people. It's just now. And whatever it is, the business, if it's like saying, you know what, I don't want to do business. Okay. But don't do it. Don't just do that now. Don't do it now. You know? I think that we as people tend to make our life harder because our life is really, really easy.
Maybe.
Let's go back to the example of fast food. You're not gonna go hunting. You're not gonna go sit there and fish for food. It's so easy now. And oh man, dude.
It's also funny because it's kind of made it. They've kind of made it to where you're not even allowed to do those kind of things. Like you can't even catch rainwater in California.
Right.
Like they're almost like you're not allowed. You can't just go out and kill a rabbit and cook rice from a rabbit. Like,
right.
Like if they caught you get in trouble. You'd probably be some animal cruelty shenanigans on you and so on and so forth.
PETA.
So like even if you went hunting, you had to get your hunting pass and
right,
so on and so forth. Like,
yeah, it's I think it's part of the.
Like, all you can do is grow some vegetables. Yeah.
Yeah, but even that, people don't do that anymore. I don't know. No. I don't know anybody who has a vegetable garden. Actually, changed my mind. I do.
Because it takes a lot.
Yeah, but you know what?
That's why it was people's days before. Like
it's the wealthy people who tend to do some. I'm not gonna just put that on wealthy people, but okay, this guy.
Because it takes a lot to do it. Like you have to take care of it. You have to water it. You have to make sure that it take bugs off of it, and like it's a lot of work to get it. So like it takes too much time for the amount of stuff we do now. So like before, when you were living at your house and all you do was take care of your land and make sure you had food coming. Outside of that, like, what else did you need? You would just trade with people.
Right.
So, like, what you do when you woke up is you went out, you made sure your stuff was growing and made sure your animals were fine, and then you cooked dinner at night. Like, outside of that, I was just kind of hanging out. But now, you got to go do paperwork and yada, yada, yada to make this money to
be able to
have all
that
to come home and have dinner.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how humans work. But I don't know. This is just the latest realization that I've had is that you're only going to be here once, man. And maybe that's why, like, when you're like, oh no, like this girl this girl that, like, to me, it's like you're telling me that you don't want to experience anything. And I'm all about the experience, man. Dude. Because that's the only way you learn. It's the only way that you actually know that it's bullshit. When you do it. Not when you're sitting from your couch saying that's bullshit. You know? So I don't know. I just feel like we need to I think humans in general need to experience things. That is, how we're built. We need the new things, innovations, the learning more, learning about blah blah blah. Now we're learning about galaxies that are million light years away. When before the light, now we're. I mean, I don't know.
Create like.
I think it's really cool. Yeah, I just think it's really really cool. But definitely that message really really, sit.
And see,
It sat with me. It's really really
like
deep.
how I think we've talked about this before about the whole concept of like the age gives you a knowledge of something that you don't have yet. So like it's easy for him to say ignore this, ignore this, ignore this, because it doesn't matter.
Right.
But for him, when he was there, he couldn't ignore it because it did matter. So it's like you can't have it not matter until you passed it.
Right.
So that's why like you can almost never take advice from someone who's already passed it. Because it's hard.
I see your point.
Like
I see your point. But
it's like you're not ready for it yet. Like you don't have the understanding to be able to do that. Like sure, you may be able to work with it better or quicker because someone helped you with it. That's fine, but like
I would say exposure. That's another thing that I learned actually today on the drive home. Hopefully one day I'll have my mentor on the podcast. But that guy works crazy. He works day and night. With his passion. He's passionate about what he does, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we were having this conversation about exposure and how traveling actually opens your mind in a way you can't get that just sitting at home. Like, I think things are going so virtual now that even going out, even this little experience here and there is going to be gone. I doubt it, but I don't know. Like, are we heading towards a Matrix again?
I don't think video will take over because like that kind of thing takes over for like business concepts, but like you always have that want to go do something.
Do you?
Like
I have
the want to go do something. Then when I go do it, I have the want to go back home.
There you go.
So it's like it's that whole when you're in it kind of thing. Like you want to be somewhere else when you're in something else you wanted to already do.
Mm.
So like you're sitting at home, you're like, oh, I've been inside for 2 weeks, haven't done anything, I want to go out. And you go out, and the night ended up being just kind of boring and stupid, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to go out anymore. And then you stay at home for another 2 weeks, and then you're like, I need to go do something.
Well,
like
I'll tell you that humans need to be out. We're not meant to be in four walls.
Why does the world make it so hard?
It's not the world, man. It's you.
Yeah.
It's us. The social anxiety. If you really wanted to learn from people, you would want to go meet people. But if I don't know, maybe you're casting, you're like projecting something.
I should just walk around with a judge uniform on, a judge coat. What is that called?
I don't know.
They're called something. A cloak?
A cloak, yeah.
Judge cloak? Maybe?
I don't know what it's called.
But
I mean, anyway, just Vegas, man. It's like a different place. It's like it's like another planet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's where you go where no one cares anymore.
Yeah.
They just don't care.
So
they don't care about the person next to them.
They just want
to do
Check this out, dude. Fun. What do you think fun is, Greg?
I don't know. A feeling of excitement for something.
A feeling of excitement for something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you think that you're able to have fun? What do you think allows you to have fun? The core meaning of fun.
Without a better word, like a competition kind of concept, where it's like where you feel like you did something better.
Like accomplished?
Like, let's say, like, when you play a card game, like, sitting there waiting for someone's turn to come around, it's not fun. But when you get to play your card and you win, you're like, suck on that, suckers. Like,
okay.
That's excitement, but no one else is necessarily getting the excitement except for maybe the laugh. Like, damn.
What if I told you that fun is it's just letting go? Whatever that means.
Like, I never really understand the whole concept of letting go. Like, what does that mean? Letting go, like, do something that you don't do because you don't like it?
I'm saying letting go means don't do anything at all. Just go with whatever it is. Just let go, to surrender yourself to the experience.
See, that's something, you just kind of piece something together for me a little bit. Because, like, whenever I usually get the most done, like, whenever I feel like I have more time in a day, it's usually when I don't care about what I'm doing. Where, like, it doesn't matter that this gets done right away. Like, people have plans. Like, they'll plan their whole next day. Like, this gets done between this hour, this hour, this hour. Like, I'd rather just put a whole list and do it all in one day and don't care what happens.
Yeah, some people are like that.
And
I mean, the only...
Like, does it matter if I did it within a certain hour? Like, obviously, there are things that have to get done at certain times. Where, like, you can only go to the bank between this time and this time, so you have to do it in that window. Like, that's fine. That doesn't bother me. But, like, when it's, like, you have to work out between 11:30 and 12:30, but then you get this, like, side cramp right at 11:15, you're just like, oh, man. But, like, if you were to have waited till 1:30 to do it, that side cramp would have been gone and you would be perfectly fine working out. But now that you did it at 11:30, that side cramp hindered you and now you feel terrible and now you're not going to continue on. Like, I always think that it's always about the circumstance that makes you push forward, where you get enjoyment from something by letting it be more comfortable. That's why, like, I've always said this about relationships, why it's so hard. Like, say you were getting ready to go out for dinner or something, and your wife was ready and you weren't. But all you needed was another minute. But now her night is ruined because you're taking another minute and she's trying to rush you out, and now she's getting all mad. Like, why aren't you ready? Come on, let's go. But, like, if she just didn't say anything for another minute, you would have been fine. The night would be perfectly fine. Like, what did that minute matter? Except for that she was ready to go and you weren't yet ready. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, yes.
It's like that little thing that didn't matter that now matters.
I understand what you're saying.
And I think that happens too much with different aspects.
That's what I'm saying. Don't worry about the little things. I mean, details do matter. When you're talking about business, it's about the details. That's the difference. But when you're talking about, I forgot to take my vitamins today. My whole world is ruined. No. Just take them tomorrow and try to take them the next day. You know? Or you're talking about the side cramp, okay? Why do you have a side cramp? Because you're not working out as much. So go with the side cramp. Do it anyway. I don't know. It's just, you know what I mean?
Like, but see, that's the point, though. If you do it anyways, though, then you feel so bad. And you rather not do it anymore, and it's easier to just not do it anymore.
I think that
you can't just keep telling yourself over and over, don't worry about it. Like, you were telling me this thing about waking up at 5:00.
Yeah.
So if you stay out tonight till 1 a.m, you wake up at 5:00.
Yeah.
So you have to do that consistently for quite a few days. Like, it's not reasonably smart to do.
No.
Like, it'll wear you down, and like, you'll be tired and you'll visibly look that way. So your business will not be as flourishing, because if you go to talk to someone and you're just like this, they're going to be like, what the heck?
I think
even if you're getting work done.
I think that the body adapts. That's what I think.
I don't know about that.
I know plenty of people who don't sleep.
Yes, but there's also issues with people.
Yes. I know people that chose to be businessmen who don't sleep. Like, you don't sleep. That's what it is. Like, you just have to get up and then you have something to do that day. And it's not even about the time you wake up, because it's more about the day itself. Like, like, the older I get, the more I realize that the next day is a gift. You know? Because people don't wake up sometimes. I've known people who just never woke up. They were just done. And then imagine being that person. You know?
Who knows? What's next might be better. Might be worse.
That's what I'm saying. But this is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah? I mean, it could be a lot worse. It could always be a lot worse. That's the thing. I mean, I don't know, Greg. I say just, YOLO the hell out of your life, man.
So have more fun, is what you're saying.
Have more fun and let go. And don't be so intimidated by people about what they think. Who cares? They're people.
I guess it's having to be able to learn how to have enjoyment in things that don't necessarily have the same type of enjoyment. Like when you do something like when you're sweeping the house, you don't have any enjoyment while you're pushing dirt. But then when you sit down or you come home the next day, you lay on the ground and there's no dirt on the ground, then there's enjoyment there.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know, it's just so easy from like how I am to get away from those things. It's just easier just not to do things.
Well,
I don't know like where the pieces that I'm missing to make things.
I think you're worrying too much.
Click together.
You're just worrying too much about things in the details that I'm telling you. Don't get stuck on.
Well, like it was like right now when you went up to get ready,
yeah,
and I was on my computer. I started doing some of my coding. I started doing one of the challenges. I was sitting there. I was doing it, and then I hit a spot where like I kept reading to like see what they wanted me to do. I kept doing it, and I started writing it out. I got to a point where I was like, "That's not what they want me to do. I need to combine these two." Okay, and then I went to YouTube. Like, why?
Because you're addicted to social media.
I guess, maybe.
And actually, we were talking about earlier on the drive, I told you I wanted to talk to you on the air about it. I deleted all those social media apps.
Yeah.
Besides Snapchat. Only because I talked to you guys on there. It's like our group chat.
Yeah.
You know? Even podcasts, I didn't listen to them. I didn't listen to more than 30 minutes of a podcast. And that was when I was driving.
So what do you do instead?
Nothing. Think.
See, that's one of the things I did for a while. Is I shut everything off and I stopped doing it, and then I only use YouTube in a sense of using it to learn something. So if it was like I had asked someone like, how do you like what is the actual purpose for like having grass? Like why do we have grass in our lawns? Like I would go and search YouTube to try to figure that kind of thing out.
Why
like,
YouTube?
Like I just came because it's video and audio, so you're getting more out of it than just reading an audio, because I'm more of a visual person than I am reading. Like I could read a sentence and forget exactly what it said by the last word. So it's easier for me to see and hear it than to read it. And then like I did that for a long time, and I just started catching myself like there was just so much of my day that I was just sitting there and like learning things that I was just like, okay, I mean, I'm just sitting here anyways. What am I doing? That I just started transitioning that into like playing video games or like just like doing wasteful things, watching a movie or things like that. So it's like you gotta make sure to still like it's hard for me to find a balance. I either go way overboard or I don't do it. So I go way overboard both ways. It's almost like I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, how do you get away from something that you're addicted to? If you have no choice, it's easy to quit an addiction. But when you have a choice, it's easy to stick with it. But how do you get rid? Like, how do you make sure you have no choice?
Well, I think that's a discipline thing. I mean, it's a lot of people's minds are undisciplined. I mean, including mine. I've had to work a lot.
I don't think anyone can have a completely disciplined mind. Like,
dude, you'd be surprised, man. In a disciplined mind, not in the sense of I am literally telling my mind what to do. I think only monks can achieve that, dude. Like enlightenment, Gandhi, right? But in terms of seeing your mind be this thing, doing this thing, and you're watching it, and you're like, look at you. Look at the monkey. The monkey's still going. Look at that fucking retard. Look at that. Why are you thinking that? Why are you going there? What? Like, why are you making so much noise? There's people who are just looking at it like, it's normal. Oh, look, it's doing it again. I'm just not going to act on it. Like, they're able to detach themselves from their impulses, from the things that make them tick.
Yeah. Like were you saying that, like, kind of like how if you're in a restaurant and like someone walks in with a baby and everyone sees it and then the baby starts crying and everyone else just ignores it, and then there's that one person who's like, you need to get your baby to be quiet. Like, some people just can't see past something that's obviously present all the time. Like, you expect that to happen, and because it's happening, it's not a big deal.
Give me a better example.
Well, it's like, I don't know. It's like if you, let's say we both lived in the house with the fly problem, right? And because you walked in the door and a fly came in, I blamed you for all the flies in the house.
Okay.
Like, the flies are going to get in. Why are we arguing about this? Do you not understand what I'm trying to say?
No. You have to, I mean, I guess that's your...
It's like, things are going to happen that you can't necessarily change just because they're annoying. You got to get over it somehow.
So, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But how do you get over things that are annoying, even if you say, oh, it's okay, I understand, I'm going to get it anyways, even if it still bothers you?
Over time,
maybe it's an OCD kind of concept in a different form.
Over time, keep making the same mistake. See how long you keep making that mistake for.
I guess.
Yeah, I think time is I think father time is one of the...
What? Say it.
I can't say it.
Why?
No, that's an inside joke. Inside joke from the week. I don't know. It was just...
You don't start it and stop.
Anyway,
right.
Father time is something that we cannot beat.
I don't know.
We can't beat Father time.
Oh, like as in, like, you're saying like Mother Earth, Father time?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like as a father, you can't beat the time with your child.
What? No.
Like fatherhood.
No, Father time. Like time. You can't beat Father time. Like, it's going to be here tomorrow, whether you're here or not.
Yeah.
And so I feel like people... That's what I'm saying. Like, it kind of just hit me this week. Like, man, why are you wasting your time worrying? Just do something. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Then do something else. And if you want to do nothing, do nothing. Meditate. You know?
Yeah.
The thing is that with vices, it's usually something that you know you shouldn't be doing, but you do it anyway, consciously. So that's a tough one, man. I think people can really go off the deep end on that. And I mean, I see that, man. I saw that in Vegas. I saw, just dude, like the people there, the people that go there and never leave. That is fucking crazy. You want to talk about weird? The people that go to Vegas for work because they're gonna bartend and make more money and never leave. Dude, man.
Some people commute out there for the weekend. Like you could live here, you drive out there for the weekend, and you come back here.
I mean,
it's more money than you would make here.
I mean, why don't you just live there for a year and then save the money? You know?
It's just people understand it's so garbage to live there. Like
it really,
you don't want to stay in that environment.
It is, man.
And like no one, people don't want to admit it. They just see that you can do whatever you want there. So like, that's why it's so enjoyable, I think, for people.
Because they let go.
You can do what, yeah. You can go there and do something you wanted to do, even though you know it's something you shouldn't do, and whatever. Doesn't matter if you hurt someone because I don't need to see these people anymore.
Everybody does it. And that's what's crazy. There's only a few exceptions of people, but every human is more alike than we like to admit.
But see, that's where that whole term. Well, it probably didn't start there, but the whole YOLO concept, you only live once, is people think that because you only live once, do anything. Do whatever, it doesn't matter. Because you're only going to be able to do it one time.
I think that's up to your interpretation. Your own individual interpretation. Because the YOLO for me would be different than the YOLO for you. Like, I'm sure they didn't mean it like, go and murder babies because this is the only time you're going to live. Yet people do that. But then there's plenty more that don't. You know?
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's a weird concept.
Yeah.
But Greg, leave them with the message, man.
Leave with the message. You had the message this week. But no, we're gonna come back next week. I don't know the schedule, but it'll probably be Thursday again.
Yeah.
And I'll have something new. I'll have something different. And if I
don't do it for the podcast. Do it for the podcast.
No.
Don't do it for the podcast. Do it for yourself. Do it because tomorrow, that's it.
Yeah.
The end game is when you go to sleep. No, the end game should be that you wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, I think one of the things too is that where I'm at, like where I'm living and everything like that, that it's just so like I think too much about it, and I don't like maybe it's like some kind of depression or some kind of something that I can't explain where it's like you wake up and you're just like, all right, cool, I'm awake now. Like I don't feel like pressed to do anything necessarily.
Well,
but I know in my head like I'm like I need to do this. I need to get this done. But then it's just things can keep getting pushed. So I'm gonna try to figure it out.
Slope.
Yep.
I think we talked about that last time. I mean, dude. I've been gone from the office for 7 days. So just imagine what's waiting for me on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe next Monday won't be so bad.
Or figure out a new way of doing something.
More efficient.
Yeah.
Be better at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the goal here. As we keep doing this podcast, hopefully we could become better, more enjoyable to listen to. And if we're not, well then go look for another podcast.
Yeah.
Hey man, actually, you got some people on there, man. What they say? We got
thoughts on Israel versus Parnesian. I'm assuming that's soccer.
Parnesian?
Yeah.
I think that's a political question.
Probably, but I don't know what you're talking about there. But that was a while ago, I think. So, all right, guys, we'll be back Thursday, and we'll have more to talk about.
YOLO.
Peace. Eventually.
I gotta touch the screen. My mouse disappeared.